My name is Emily Carter, and I never imagined my life would come to this point. If someone had told me 5 years ago that my marriage, the one I believed would last forever, would end because of my late-night habits online, I would have laughed. But here I am, facing divorce papers, sleepless nights, and the weight of mistakes I didn't even recognize were mistakes until it was too late. This isn't a story filled with dramatic betrayals you'd see in movies. It's not about someone physically cheating or committing some scandalous crime. No, it's about something far more subtle, yet just as destructive. The secret double life I lived on the internet, and the way it cost me everything I once held dear. How it all began. When my husband Michael and I first got married, life felt like a dream. We were both young, ambitious, and full of hope. Michael worked long hours as a financial advisor in Chicago, and I taught English at a local high school. Our days were busy, but our evenings were always filled with laughter, shared dinners, and endless conversations about the future. But somewhere along the way, things changed. The pandemic hit, and suddenly, life slowed down in some ways but grew heavier in others. My classes shifted online, and I found myself glued to the computer for hours on end. At first, it was just work. But slowly, the internet became more than that. It became my escape. I joined forums, discussion groups, even late-night live stream chats. People I had never met before began to feel like friends. They didn't know me as Emily, the wife of Michael Carter. They knew me as MC22, a username I chose one night when I signed up for a random forum. And being MC22 felt freeing. The comfort of strangers. Michael was exhausted most evenings, and he often fell asleep early on the couch. I would tuck him into bed, kiss his forehead, and then retreat back to the glow of my laptop screen. There, I could talk to people who didn't judge me, who didn't ask me about bills or responsibilities. It started with harmless things. Book discussions, late-night debates about movies, sharing memes and inside jokes with people who lived halfway across the world. But soon the conversations grew more personal. I found myself confiding in people online about frustrations I never voiced to Michael, about feeling overlooked, about the stress of teaching, about wondering if I was living the life I was meant to live. These strangers listened. They validated me. They told me I was interesting, funny, and smart. And every time I logged in, I felt less like Emily, the tired wife and teacher, and more like someone vibrant again. The secrets I kept. The problem wasn't that I was making friends online. The problem was that I was keeping it all a secret from Michael. I never told him how late I stayed up, typing away until 3 a.m. I never told him that there were entire groups of people who knew more about my day-to-day moods than my own husband. I never told him that sometimes, instead of reaching out to him for comfort, I went online to strangers instead. And secrecy grows like a shadow. At first, it was just closing the laptop quickly when he walked into the room. Then it became deleting chat histories, making sure notifications didn't pop up on my phone, and pretending I was working on lesson plans when really, I was laughing at some random thread with usernames I'll never meet in real life. I thought it was harmless. I thought, what's the big deal? I'm not hurting anyone. But I was wrong. The day he found out. It happened on a Wednesday night. Michael had been working late, and I thought I had a few hours to myself. I was in the middle of a group chat on a forum when he walked through the door earlier than expected. I panicked. I slammed my laptop shut, and that was the moment he knew something wasn't right. "Emily," he said slowly, "why do you always close your laptop when I walk in?" My heart raced. I lied. I was just finishing up some work. But Michael wasn't stupid. The next day, he borrowed my laptop for a quick email, and that's when he found everything. The chat logs. The usernames. The countless hours I had spent in these online spaces while he was sleeping just a few feet away. When I came home that evening, he was sitting at the dining table with my laptop in front of him. "We need to talk," he said. The confrontation. I'll never forget the look in his eyes. It wasn't anger at first. It was hurt. "Emily, what is all this?" he asked, pointing to the screen. "You spend hours talking to these people. You tell them things you've never told me. You hide it from me. Why?" Tears stung my eyes. I tried to explain. "It's nothing, Michael. They're just people online. I was lonely, Lonely, he interrupted. His voice cracked. You were lonely? And instead of coming to me, your husband, you chose strangers? You'd rather spend nights with them than with me. The truth was brutal. I had no excuse. I couldn't deny it. He didn't yell. He didn't slam doors. Instead, he just shook his head and whispered, I don't even know who you are anymore. That was the night our marriage truly broke. Ugh. The fallout. Michael moved into the guest room the next day. Conversations between us became short, clipped, and heavy with tension. I tried to make amends. I promised to log off, to delete the accounts, to focus on us again. But Michael wasn't convinced. It's not about the websites, Emily, he said one night. It's about trust. And I don't trust you anymore. A month later, he filed for divorce. And if that wasn't painful enough, Michael told some of our close friends and family about my secret online life. Suddenly, I was the subject of whispers at gatherings. My sister-in-law looked at me with pity. My own parents asked me, how could you choose strangers over your husband? I wanted to scream that they didn't understand, that it wasn't about choosing strangers. It was about finding a version of myself that felt alive. But how could I explain that without sounding selfish? The lessons I learned. As the divorce papers sat on the table, waiting for my signature, I realized something crucial. Secrecy in any form destroys relationships. It doesn't matter if it's something harmless like late-night chats or something more obvious. The moment you start hiding, you're building a wall. And walls don't protect love. They suffocate it. Looking back now, I wish I had been honest from the beginning. I wish I had told Michael, I feel unseen. I feel like I'm fading. Maybe then we could have fixed it together. Maybe then I wouldn't be sitting here alone. Where I am now. The divorce went through. Michael and I are no longer together. He's moved on, and I hear through mutual friends that he's doing well. As for me, I've stepped away from the late-night forums and the endless scroll of strangers. I've gone back to therapy, back to journaling, back to rediscovering who I am without a screen telling me I'm interesting. It's not easy. There are nights when the silence of my apartment feels unbearable. But I remind myself, secrets brought me here. Honesty will be the only way forward. Final thoughts. If you're listening to this story, I want you to take one thing with you. Don't underestimate the small cracks in your relationships. Don't think that harmless secrets stay harmless. They grow. They consume. If you feel lonely, say it. If you feel unseen, speak it.